But good sells would be below this area here too.
Yeah. It's a nice range.
Anyway, I suppose it's best not to like get caught in the trap of, you know, taking a buy and then taking a sell straight away. I think looking back, this 15-minute candle was probably a problem. To take a buy maybe straight away. Maybe should have let it make its bottom wick first and then entered in as it started to flip. But
yeah, because like the 30-minute didn't, like, we obviously had a wick to fill on the 30, and then we kind of filled it, but we never broke above that high, so we never made higher like range to continue up. I thought it would at least come up to 850 though, if we're gonna reject.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking, because then I was like, I can take half off at around, even at like 850, like you say. I could have taken like half off and then let the rest run for like 15.
Yeah, I was gonna close just 80% of 10 pips at 800, and then just let it run and go because it's just a Monday.
Yeah, it just didn't even do that.
No.
Bless you, bro.
Cheers.
But there's definitely no buys at this point, let's put it that way. Alright, let's wait for a few people to join up. Morning. How's everyone doing? But yeah, I think we should have been in those cells.
Yeah, I'm gonna journal that.
Yeah, it's frustrating, isn't it?
It's just like some days you're not fully on top of it and you need to be.
I think this is the only issue I have with this kind of like short-term sell is that obviously, do you know what? Actually, it made sense because this was obviously a pre-London support, and we broke down below that. But I think because of how much we've been seeing these supports be like broken down, and then you get a candle do this, and then that never works. but like, you know, we're forgetting like we haven't, you know, price isn't been moving bullish, you know, since the end of last week really. But
yeah,
anyway.
as well, it's like this was our, that was the 1 hour. If we close below that, we're closing back in the range on the 1 hour.
Yeah.
And we stayed below it the next 30 minutes. So
yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Should have been way more on that. We waiting for a double bottom to buy. I don't think you should be looking just for buys right now, but I'm not looking just for a buy if there's a double bottom. Man, I'm so hungry. Oh. Morning, A-Rod. How's it going? Okay, let's just take a look at the 4 hour real quick. So obviously 4 hour candle is coming down, right? So I mean, we still have this other range. The move is not finished yet. We still have this other range below 150, 450, and then that would actually take us back down to where the market opened. Now let's take a look on the daily here. It kind of like makes sense, because if this candle came up back into this daily area and now like rejecting, if we do start to flip bearish, right, even just flip the daily candle, then we could see price come down to like 149,990, 149,880, you know, all these kind of support areas. Looking on the 4 hour candles coming down. So I mean, it does seem like we're kind of like rejecting this area, even though I had a buy before the stream started for price to potentially continue moving up because of the short-term market structure. Seems like we are respecting this area to the left hand side, which means that this support over here is a high probability that we're going to come down to this support. Let's look on the 1 hour. So it looks like the 1 hour time frame is tapped into the support over here. So we're already at a 1 hour support level. So if we break this 1 hour support, then we can see price continuing further down at that point. Let's look on the 30 minute. Yeah, we're at this kind of support level over here right now. So I think a good sell is obviously going to be below 150, 450, but we'll have to wait and see what's going on the smaller time frames to see if we can take that sell. So I had a buy before the stream at 157.41, but it got stopped out. I had stops below 156.40, but it didn't really work out there. And then obviously I didn't want to jump straight into sells over here, but it looks like that would have been my second opportunity, because I was waiting for this potential candle to close bullish, and it didn't. It closed bearish, and it did come down, and then literally as I saw this candle coming down, I was like, oh yeah, maybe should have been in sells right over here. The only issue I had was, you know, having buys here and then taking sells at the bottom of the range is going to become very stressful if you do that, you know, a lot. But on this particular occasion, we did have a confirmation for a selling opportunity, at least down to this area here. But it seems like, yeah, probably going to be a good sell below this area here as well. So I mean, either we're going to want some further resistance because this is a previous level of support, right? That's obviously going to be the easiest option, or we're going to have to see if we can get a candle closing below and basically have to you know, kind of impulsively suggest that we will continue moving bearish with volume. But you know, neither one is guaranteed, so we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But what level is our 4 hour support at? Same area, so that's perfectly fine. So yeah, we'll have to see how we react to this level here. So if you got in on the close of the 30 minute, I mean, that was a straight 15 pips. Would have made back the loss that I had from this morning, but still, it is what it is, isn't it? So I had a buy because we closed above. So if you see, we had this candle here, this bullish candle here, it closed above this resistance, the left hand side, right? So we closed above that area, and now I was expecting, okay, well, since if we take a look, right, we had support, we had a higher level of support, we also had a higher level of support formed over here. Obviously this candle would have been my ideal entry candle, but I was late to the party with that one. So I took a buy over here, and then anticipating us to at least get to like 150, 850, based on that previous area. Even 150, 880 was my like full TP. Not really asking for much movement, because I thought, you know, this is going to be a short-term play, because we may react if we're going to start to come down at that point. But I was expecting, based on the market structure, we would you know, correct that gap, basically, was, you know, part of the idea. But seems like, it does seem like that we basically reacted to this kind of like rejection area potentially, because we tapped into this level from before. The only issue I have is that, you know, if this was a rejection area, why are we having volume to close above? As you look on the smaller time frames, you can kind of see why maybe this candle did just go straight bearish, because there was a weak 15-minute candle within there, and the 5-minute kind of like rejected the highs over here. However, you know, I'm not at that sort of level yet to kind of understand which situation may work, may not work, based on what goes on in the smaller time frames. But that's something obviously I'm looking at over time. But yeah, so in this particular occasion, obviously then the buy didn't work out. Waited to see if we can get like a support over here, because I was kind of expecting, because this was a higher level of support than let's say over here, that we would respect this area overall to continue moving up. Obviously we came below it, wick below it, and then I was waiting to see if this 30-minute candle would then close bullish like this, and then I would have taken a buy to basically come back up to 750 and then see if we can break it. But at that point it didn't want to do that at all. And then obviously we saw the 30-minute candle, this 30-minute candle over here, slightly closed below this area. The issue I had at that point was I'd just taken a buy. Did I want to literally jump into sales at this point? Wasn't the, you know, wasn't my ideal situation. So for me, at that point, it was pretty much, you know, missed the move. Now looking back, there was this opportunity for price to head down to this level. You know, yeah, I mean, it is what it is, right? Missed that sell opportunity there. But like I say, we're gonna have potential sells below 150, 450 could make sense. The other thing that we got to consider is, what do we do if we see a candle like this, right? Let's say this 30-minute does what it does, and then we have a 30-minute candle do something like this, right? What's that going to suggest about price? Well, that's probably going to suggest that overall, right, that we are making a high level of support. We kind of like just rejected the highs to the left hand side, basically just creating a stronger level of resistance, and that this 4-hour candle is basically just pulled back to start heading back up again later on. Now that would give me a good indication that, okay, the next candle should also move up, which may be an idea. However, we're going to need confirmation for that as well. But we definitely moved this initial push down to at least this support, or even this level here, you could argue. But I mean, at that point, yeah, you know, it is what it is. We missed that situation now, so just have to wait and see if there's anything else. Otherwise, yeah, not the greatest start to the week. You know, obviously taking a loss on a Monday morning, but I thought the idea was valid and it made sense in my head. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is, especially because this 4-hour candle's already bullish, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, at least got to move further up to like fill the wick, and then I was expecting at least a gap fill. You know, okay, fine, if we reject here, no problem, I didn't really care. I would have been probably out with partials at that point, but it's the fact we closed above and just came straight back, you know, at that point, it didn't really, wasn't the best outcome, right?
I was gonna say, I got on the 5-minute for my entry as well. Like, I saw there was, yeah, this was the candle that closed at 5:30, so we're kind of forming support on here. So I was like, we should at least, you know, come up to here for the next 30-minute candle.
Yeah.
Yeah, so help me out getting that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think structurally wise, it completely made sense. You know, if we look at these situations all the time, we're always saying, okay, well, look, we can clearly see why the buy was taken here, because we had a higher level of support. Then, you know, market structure was evident. Now, this short-term play isn't to do with necessarily structure, because, you know, it's to do with the fact that we basically, you know, since we've basically rejected the highs at that point, and you look at your most recent support and that we've broken it, we're pushing down impulsively to the next level of support at that point, basically. Now this is the point where, again, we might even need to see further resistance form to sell it based on the structure like we spoke about, you know, because we had bearish market structure here, which you would have thought we would have, you know, like respected overall, to see price still continue bearish, maybe even into London open. But yeah, call it what you will, but it did move up to that previous area before coming back down again. So I don't know. Good morning lads. Morning Freddie. Yeah, if I'm going to take another trade here today, it's going to need to be something fairly solid, because, I mean, yeah, don't want to get caught out. Let's take a look at gold real quick. So let's do a little breakdown of gold. So starting with the daily time frame on gold, we are back at this daily support area. We are back at this daily support. This area is at like 1731. We've wicked down into this area. I mean, if we start to break the low on the daily time frame, then we're probably going to come down to around 1722, something like that. But similar situation. It seems like we are rejecting this area from a daily perspective. Let's take a look on the 4 hour. So from a 4 hour perspective, we've actually made a lower high than this previous area. So we basically created resistance over here. And now we are at this level of, I mean, this is a big liquidity area, so we're basically all in this area of support on the 4 hour time frame. So it's going to be very, very difficult to find a trade within this area. Now as we look on the 1 hour, we've basically tapped into a 1 hour support. So sells below this 1 hour support is obviously going to make the most sense at that point. And then obviously we had this previous level over here, which we've broken down, so we may need a resistance as well for price to continue moving bearish. But yeah, probably the best selling opportunity is going to be below this support on the 30-minute time frame for gold to continue moving bearish. Yeah, because right now we're still in this bearish market structure phase, so we'll have to come back to gold. Pound yen, ooh, GJ is retracing hard. Interesting. Yeah, we'll have to wait for this 30-minute candle to close at this point, because we may create a 1 hour support over here, and this may just be the bottom wick of the 4 hour, and then we're going to start heading back up at that point. But again, we need confirmation for that. Good morning. Oh sorry, I have a feeling London Open gonna have a correction of the bearish impulsive move. Potentially, that's what I was looking for like a potential support to form. So if that happens, then yes, that may be a good opportunity for further upside, but we'll see. We will see what happens here. Because overall, we're either really coming down to support on the 4 hour, or we're looking to correct this gap, right? It's one or the other. You know, price has to go up or down, doesn't it? So it's either going to come down to these supports, or it's going to continue moving up to correct that gap fill, which was what I was expecting. I was expecting to see a nice big bullish move, is what I was expecting to see. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Okay. Great to be back. Definitely should be interesting to see where price goes today. 100%. 100%. I'd like to see where it goes, but like I say, right, look at the higher time frames. This, you know, we have two plays here. I tried the first play, you know, pretty early on, didn't work out. So we've got 2 plays. We're either looking for sells down to 4 hour support, right, or we're looking for sells to correct the gap. Buys to correct that gap from market open. It's one or the other, because price can only go up or down. So now we just have to look for confirmation of the potential, you know, gap, or we're looking for potential confirmation to say that we're going to retest this low created on the 4 hour. GBP JPY 4 hour has no upper wick. Yes, it does. Here's your upper wick on the current 4 hour candle. It's now come down to make a lower 4 hour wick, respecting the previous 4 hour candle, and broke the high. So right now, still on the higher time frames, you can't argue that there's you know, sell confirmation just based off the 4 hour. Not yet, because this candle hasn't closed yet. Now as you go to the 1 hour, yeah, you can argue that more and more, because obviously we closed back in the range. This 1 hour candle's already moved down to support, but it is kind of like rejecting this support at the moment. Obviously I have to see how this 30-minute candle closes, so we'll have to wait and see. Because if this 30-minute candle closes bearish, you know, then I mean we're still closing below support, so there's not quite the buying opportunity that we want there. Damn, I think we got into the same trade when 1 hour closed bullish above the range. Yes, I think we did. That's exactly what I was looking at. Obviously I was expecting a retest of like 156.80, but I was not expecting it to basically break this whole market structure. But yeah, it's just how it goes. GJ finally on the daily broke bullish structure. Yes, I think potentially we may have done, but let's see, because like I say, if we correct the market gap up, then I mean, what can you say? Like, we're still respecting bullish market structure. But I agree with everything he's saying so far. Weekly definitely looked like a pullback, but you know, judging by GJ, we may just continue pumping. You know, I'd love to see a correction, but we don't really know if that's going to happen right now or not. So we've got like 30 seconds left for this 30-minute candle to close. We can't sell it because, you know, we're still... Obviously, the only thing that makes sense is even if you look on the 5-minute time frame, obviously you can clearly see bearish market structure. right? This is, see, this is the area I was talking about on the 5-minute that we rejected. Maybe that should have made me think about taking a buy just yet, but I don't know. Oh well. But yeah, we can clearly see now since then we've been creating lower resistances on the 5-minute time frame, and obviously these lower levels of support. So it all depends how we see price. Let me see what the 30-minute did. So 15-minute candle closed bullish, but we're still respecting bearish market structure. 30-minute candle closed bearish as well, but still closed below that, you know, still respecting support. So the only way really that we're going to be able to get a buy opportunity from this area, like this situation here, is if we basically get the bullish candle do something like this. That is going to give us that opportunity. Otherwise it's not, to retest the highs at that point. That would be my buying opportunity. Otherwise we're going to have to wait for price to stay above that area. Morning Salim, how's it going? Okay, HFX, can you briefly explain what and how you determine a liquidity wick? I'm trying to understand more fundamentally why these wicks occur. I think when I talk about a liquidity wick, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a fundamental move. A liquidity wick basically means that, for example, as an example of a liquidity wick, it's basically like a liquidity grab, right? It's basically like where you get a big fat off wick that will tap into a key level, and then you'll see some form of reverse. So like, for example, this is a liquidity grab because you can clearly see, like if you look to the left hand side, that we obviously had bearish market structure. So let's make this pink nice and easy to understand. So obviously we're creating lower levels of resistance here for price to continue down. We came to a key level. Now notice how obviously this candle wicked all the way down and then left this, you know, like a big wick, right? Left this retracement. Next candle also wicked down and then created this liquidity, and then that's how you saw price heading back up. You can see more liquidity being generated there to push price up again over here, right? So it's that kind of like, it looks like rejections, but it's, you know, potential rejection to, you know, reverse at that point. Or it works in the same way as, you know, like you could see liquidity grab, you know, let's say like let's say this candle here, this bearish candle broke all the way up here and then came down. That's also a liquidity grab. So you have to be careful of those when you're buying, right? Because you could buy, you see the candle moving bullish, you see the candle moving up like this, and you're like, oh yeah, perfect, we're gonna should hit target there, and then, you know, that's how it ends up closing because it leaves a big wick. But right now on pound yen, seems like we could potentially keep coming down, but I think good sells still going to be below 150, 450 for me to want to sell it. Because that would also be below Asian support as well. Be breaking below this 4-hour level too. So we're coming into the last hour and a half, so it's obviously really important what happens over here. Because you could argue that if we get a further bearish candle form here, that we're going to come down to that 450 level, right? That would be your, that could be someone's trade. That's perfectly fine. That makes sense. However, I think for me, after my trade this morning, gonna see how we set up with this 30-minute candle. But we could just continue moving bearish at that point. And then if you are looking for further sales, like I say, 450 is going to be your target. It's like 10 pips away, 11 pips away. But yeah, if we close back above like 150, 650, then that would, I think that would be a good opportunity to see price breaking above 150, 750, and then continue moving up at that point. But we will see.
I've just been looking at my wins to losses on Monday since the start of this year. I've 1 win, 6 losses.
Jesus.
So maybe that's trying to tell me something.
Potentially.
You don't have to see the next couple months.
Yeah, give it a little bit more time. Or even go and take a look at like all the losses on Monday, and then see if it's like, you know, oh, the 30-minute candle, whatever, is not, you know, that's not a strong enough confirmation for a Monday then, or something like that. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Figure it out.
Yeah, just take a look at like, you know, what's consistently maybe going wrong on a Monday, and then, you know, that's going to give you more opportunity to think, okay, well, you know, how are you gonna, well, like, what do you want to see maybe on a Monday to set your week right? What do you see that works on a Monday?
Yeah.
But yeah, looks like right now we could be coming down. We've created a little top wick on the 30-minute, and maybe we're gonna break this, fill this wick, and then continue moving down to like 150, 450 on GJ. But yeah, for me, because I've missed this initial push down, I'll be looking for sales below 150, 450. That's what I want to see. See how this 1 hour candle closes as well. Because if we do come down to 150, 450, you'll see on the 1 hour how we basically would be breaking support at that point. But then, you know, you go to your 30-minute and then you see, oh, okay, well, we have this problem area over here. So then we'd have to wait to see how we react at this level. Yeah, I think GJ is going to continue moving bearish over here. But we'll see. Boom, boom, boom. Sorry, I think I missed. Sorry, I mean the daily candle. The daily candle does have a top wick. It's created a top wick first, pretty much. You only have a little bottom wick, but yeah, it does have a top wick. Definitely does have a top wick. Did you take a buy or sell this morning? I had a buy at 157.41, somewhere over here, but it didn't really work out. HFX, I feel safer buys to retest bearish intraday structure at a break of previous highs and body candle break above 150.800. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, I mean, the safest option really for buys is probably going to be above 880 based on the market structure, but right now I think there's no buys. I think we're going to be looking for further sells below 150, 450. Because at this point we're now coming down to these wicks. You can see on the 4 hour that we're coming down to this wick. Now we have 1 hour left to see if this 4 hour will just come down to support. So we'll have to see. You know, because if I'm going to take a sell like impulsively, in a sense, like, okay, let's just say that we do just come down and break this level in the 30-minute time frame, then I would probably want to see like a 5-minute resistance at least to kind of give me some form of confluence that, okay, you know, we're not selling at the low at that point. You know, like this sort of structure here. But yeah, at this point, there's no buys right now. So, yeah, there's no buys on GJ. Now it's just to see how we react to this level, and then if we're gonna continue moving down or not. GJ closed bearish on weekly time frame finally. Yes, it did. Gold looks like it's trying to create like a resistance over here. Yeah, gold, if it starts breaking this low, can continue moving bearish. Fill these wicks. So yeah, I'm gonna wait to see if we can get potential gold sells below 17.29. That would be a good situation on gold. The only thing is we have a lot of problem areas. We've got a potential problem area like 17.26, 740, you know, all this kind of vicinity. But let's wait and see how this 15-minute candle closes. Let's go back to pound yen. So we'll see. Just waiting. Right, I need to put this morning's trade on my story. Right. Okay, GJ's tapped into support. It's kind of like retracing a little bit. Gold is coming down. Yeah, it's been a good sell. Looks like 5-minute time frame came down to this area. See, this is what I want to see on gold, right? Something like, you know, this sort of bearish market structure. But I think the best sells are going to be below this area, 1729. Yeah, below 1729. GJ having some issues in this area, so I have to wait and see. Okay, looks like gold is coming down over here. Let's wait and see what happens. Okay, this 30-minute candle still got like 14 minutes left. The 15-minute candle was closed at this support. So let's wait and see what happens. Okay, HFX, how do you determine when a bullish trend is turning bearish? DJ's been very bullish lately, but now that I zoom out of the higher time frame, it seems it's broken the high low, high structure. Yeah, potentially. I think, you know, you're just looking at, like you say, you're just looking at the structure. So what can we see about structure? Well, if this 4-hour candle closes bearish, what does that tell us? Well, that tells us that we're creating. So let's just say this is all support, right? So here was support, this was support, this is support. So if we're creating a resistance over here, right, below all these levels of support previously, then there's a higher probability of us coming down, right, and then hitting the next level of support at that point, which is looking left going to be somewhere over here. So yes, I think you're right. Definitely this is how you can determine, because you know what you're looking for with buys is you're looking for higher levels of support. So here, here's high level of support. You could argue that this was a high level of support, this was high level of support over here. So effectively now what you're looking for sells, we're looking for a lower level of resistance, which we got here, had that initial push down. We're creating here to push down. So 100%, that's exactly what you're going to be looking for. Looking at the structure, even you know, just 4 hours going to give you that overall perspective, but even, you know, as good as like looking on your smaller time frames, let's say like your 30-minute right now, and saying okay, so you know, where would I want to sell? Well, you know, clearly we created a resistance here, and then now we are creating a lower level of resistance from here. So that could have been a good confluence to tell you to take sells down to this area, right? Now, me looking at what I was looking at, we had support, we had a higher level of support, and then we had a higher level of support. And actually, the overall structure from before the weekend was still bearish, you know, so maybe that was also partly my mistake. But yeah, that is what it is, isn't it? So I have to wait and see what happens with this 30-minute candle, but we are coming below that 450 area at this point. But we still got like 10 minutes left for this candle to close. See, in fact, looking at it like that makes a lot more sense now, because we had resistance formed over here, and then we had a lower level of resistance. But then I kind of felt, yeah, see, partially that was the whole idea, wasn't it? Because we broke the lower level of resistance, so we should have pushed through that zone. But the minute we started to basically create more resistance, you're looking at the structure and then you're like, okay, well, we're clearly not going to break up at this point. So now I'm looking, you know, you'd be looking for sells at that point over here. That's where I should have been more on the goal. Was the buys was a good idea based on the short term, made sense, right? Higher levels of support could break through this level here and then push up to here minimum. So I was looking at, didn't happen. Should have then thought, okay, well, look, here was resistance, now we're respecting this area, lower level. If we break this minor level of support, we can come down to this area and then further down to this area, and that would have been the trade. But however, yeah, it didn't quite happen that way. But yeah, looking back on that situation, that makes a lot, that makes sense. You can give the buys a go, but then, if that doesn't work out, are you going to say to yourself, okay, or, what trade is, what's the viable trade? What's going to work? Because if buys don't work, then, that means that we're not heading up. So what are you going to look for now? Well, that's why I should have been more on it, and then thought, okay, well, this level is a key level. If we start breaking down below that, then we know we're hitting here. If we start breaking below that, then we know we're hitting here. So this is going to be my one and only trade if we get that situation, because that's going to be the best position to put myself in now at this point. But we're going to go into this in more depth later on. So gold is breaking down below that support. So yeah, now I think if we can wait for some form of a pullback, potential resistance to form on gold, could see some further downside at this point. So we've got like 8 minutes left for this 30-minute candle to close. So we'll wait for to see how this 30-minute candle closes over here. Obviously it was breaking below the low on the 30-minute. It's like already 13 pips to be fair, just by that break of the 30-minute low. You're looking at least a 30 pip stop. GJ is coming back to this area. Potentially, if we start breaking these lows over here on pound yen, we can start moving bearish. But I kind of want to see this 30-minute candle close below this area, to be honest. We must do a pullback for the new 1 hour, surely. How long we got on the 4 hour left? An hour. Daily's made its top wicket. Yeah, it's looking like we want to come bearish, but it's finding an entry at this point because we are at a support right now. Okay, I wanted to see the next 1 hour pull back a bit, come down to break the low of the previous 1 hour. That would be perfect. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We will see. Kind of keeping an eye on both gold and pound yen at the moment. Boom, boom. GJ been respecting 150, 500 for a couple of hours now. Can't break above. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We've got like 4 minutes left for the 1 hour, the 30 minutes, 15 minutes, everything to close. So we'll have to wait and see. Good morning. Where will your target on gold be? My target on gold, if we can break below 1729, I mean, I think as a minimum, let's go to a 15 minute. I mean, we have this like minor support over here at like 1727, so I'm gonna like keep that in mind, because it's a potential rejection area. But yeah, I think overall target would be like 1720, 1719, based on where we are right now. So yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with gold. Because if you look on the 1 hour, 1 hour's already broken below, but it's tapping into this like previous level at the moment. So we need like a further resistance to form to anticipate further downside at this point. Pound yen is now retracing off of 150, 450. 30-minute candle now also kind of like retracing off this level. 1 hour also trying to close above. So let's wait and see here. We may still get further upside. We may not be coming down here today. So we'll see. But we're going to have to wait and see for that, because the market structure is clearly still heavy bearish at this moment. I mean, look at the candles, right? You can tell price is bearish when, look, every single one is basically respecting the high, or if it's not respecting the high, it's of course breaking the lows, you know, for price to continue down. That's your bearish market structure, you know. And if you want to see that more physically on the chart, go to your 5-minute time frame and go and actually see lower resistances being formed. So it all started here, you know, where I took the buy, all started there. And then you can see your lower levels of resistance. So what are you expecting to see somewhere over here? Same situation, potentially. But yeah, same situation again. Lower levels of support, right? So again, go and understand. So we've got like a minute and a half left for this 30-minute candle to close. I was expecting this 15-minute to start pushing us up at that point, but it seems as though also like respecting the bearish downtrend that we have at the moment. Looks like gold 30 minutes potentially going to close below this area. I think it's very, very, very important where this 15-minute candle closes. If it closes below this minor support, then yeah, I think we could just see price creating further resistance to continue down. 30-minute candle respected support. Let's see how the 1 hour. 1 hour candle also closed above that support at this point. So that also we're going to bear in mind for the most part. But again, we could just be creating further resistance again for price to continue further down at that point. But we'll see. Not really interested in an impulsive entry. Let's take a look at gold. So it looks like gold 30-minute candle closed above that support. 15-minute candle closed bullish. So I mean, a good sell on gold is only really going to be looking at potentially if this 1 hour is going to create a little bit of a top wick, and then see if we can start to see rejection candles like this. You know, this is a good rejection candle to tell me that, you know, we can continue down to retest lows, which is what I'd rather see. But with this new 1 hour situation, I have to wait to see with that. Pound yen, very, very similar situation. You're gonna have to wait and see with that, because we're still respecting 1 hour support. We're still respecting this area as a support. We've also rejected this area the same way that we did previously during late Asian. So that's also something to consider. So, I mean, yeah, we'll have to wait a little bit here and see what happens. But there's no sells on gold for me right now at this point. So pound yen as well, just gonna have to wait, gonna have to wait, you know, because we may pull back to create a bearish 30-minute candle to continue price moving down. You know, we don't know at this point. We don't know what's gonna happen yet. But yeah, I had a one trade, it didn't really work out. You know, I understand now that I could have taken sell move down to 154.50, but I'm afraid I missed that opportunity there. So my only other really opportunity is going to be, you know, sells below that 154.50 area. Or, I mean, if we do close, let's say back above 156.50, then maybe could give it, you know, the buyers a second chance. But I'd really maybe want to see price above 750, to be completely honest. The only reason I mean 650 is because then the 4 hour would be basically flipping back bullish, and then we could see the own 4 hour wick get filled and then a continuation. But it's a very, very, yes, right now, yeah, we're not really sure at this point. Because we could just create further resistance on pound yen on the 5 minute, whatever, and then just continue moving down. Like, it's that simple. So we'll have to wait and see. Okay, messy with GU setup. Just looks if any corrections to be done. Okay, let's take a look. Take a look at your GU setup. Ooh. Okay, so this is GU 30 minute. So buys above there, okay, and then sells. You want sells below this area? Let's get, yeah, that's okay. I think for your sell situation though, you have this like minor support area right here, which is where it's clearly tapping into. So I think you need to maybe look at where's the best place to get sells, but I haven't really looked at GU in all the time frames, etc. But the buys make sense above this minor resistance, be back above support, and then you're probably looking at targeting that previous high point over there. But it does seem like it's creating a lower level of resistance. That's the only thing I would say. You can clearly see that we have resistance here, and then we're creating a lower level of resistance on GU. So it would probably make more sense that we'll start heading back to retest these lows, but you probably want to wait for confirmations for that. But it's pretty good. Hope good luck with that. Hope that works out. Let us know. Pound yen, still same situation. See if probably will come back to this 450 level. Now that it's created a little bit of a top wick over here, but we never broke support on the 1 hour. We never broke support on the 30 minute, so we would need a fairly clean break for me to want to sell it at this point. Plus we're coming into the last hour now. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Gold is trying to move bearish. Yeah, I'm not so convinced on gold right now, because we could react to this area at any point on the smaller time frame. So probably gonna wait to see how we set up in this area. But how was everyone's weekend? Everyone had a good weekend? Looks like gold is trying to move bearish, but the thing is, it did close at support, so it's very, very difficult. But looks like this is doing what it wants to do. Potentially going to come down through these wicks. Yeah, the only other option is if we get, further sells below that area, and then we can see price coming down to the next level of support on the 15-minute. But again, if we are respecting an overall support on gold, I'm not at that point to expect, because of the 5-minute, we're gonna continue moving bearish. I want to see a higher time frame confirmation candle first, and then look for potentially smaller time frames to align. Otherwise, what's to say this 30-minute wouldn't come straight back up in the range, because we're wicking down below support like the previous candle did. Pound yen is kind of like ranging. This was London Open as well, this 30-minute candle. So if the first 15 minutes doesn't do anything, then usually the second 15 minutes will. So it looks like GJ just kind of consolidating at this point. So we need to wait a little bit longer probably here to see what happens with pound yen. Gold is reacting to the support at the moment. So for me, there's going to be no sells right now on gold. Yeah. I mean, look at the area that we're coming into on the 4 hour. We're coming into a messy area on the 4 hour. Real disgusting area. A lot of wicks, a lot of rejections. It's gonna be very difficult to trade. I think overall what we're looking at is where the 4 hour is going to close, right? Because if the 4 hour candle, let's say, closes somewhere over here, then we know there's a very high chance the next 4 hour candle will also wick up and then start to drive down back to this low zone. But if we see the 4 hour candle closing either weak bearish or even flips bullish, then we know this whole move down was a liquidity grab to potentially start heading back up. But again, we need confirmation for both. You know, because right now, yeah, if the 4 hour candle closes as it is, I'd like to expect to see the next 4 hours still continue down and probably break below 154.50. But at the same time, I mean, smaller time frames aren't giving us any confirmation for buys or sells at this point, so we'll just have to wait. Come on guys, we've got 45 people here. We've only got 12 likes on the stream today. Let's get those likes up. Oh yeah, see, this is where you don't take gold sells, man. Look at that on gold. So the 15-minute candle for London Open closed bullish, but to be honest, it's not looking like we're gonna retrace to go up. I think we're still respecting bearish structure. In fact, if you look at the 5-minute time frame right now, if this was gold, if you see a candle breaking below this minor support, then you would expect gold to basically come down and fill this range, right? That would be your trade on gold. You know, similarly, you could argue that if we start to break above here again, you know, you would then argue on gold that we'd come up here. But with GJ, there's just not enough range to argue that that's sort of case. Yeah, come on guys, let's get these likes. Let's get these likes up. HFX, could you take a look at my EU sell? Okay, let's take a look. Says Euro USD. Okay, so you're looking for sells below this area. Okay, you got a white line there, but then you got sells below 1.8, 1.18676. Yeah, so I think if you're looking for sells, is going to be below this support, isn't it? Sells is going to be below that support, and then you just want to basically look left at that point and see, you know, where's your next target for further downside. But yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, also have a look maybe how you could have caught sells within this area here, but I don't know if you would have been awake or anything like that then. So, but that would have made sense. Looks like pound yen is moving up, clearly reacting off that area. So I'll be interested to see how the 4-hour candle closes here. So yeah, potentially our selling bias at this point may be invalid. So sells on GJ right now are out of the picture. A gold also. Gold sells are not there right now. If anything, we can see gold moving up in the short term, back up to like 1732. But there we go. Yeah, this is a very difficult situation on pound yen, because now you do have price respecting support, but also respecting this level of resistance. So it may be that you need to see how the 4-hour candle closes, and then that's going to give you an opportunity to say, okay, well, let's say the 4-hour candle overall closes bearish, then I'm probably going to look for like a further resistance within this range to be like, okay, well, we'll see the 4-hour wick get filled and then continuation. But like I say, let's see how the 4-hour, you know, starts to set up in its last part. 1-hour candles also moving up, respecting that support. 4-hour is potentially going to flip bullish. Four-hour candle's about to flip back bullish. 1 hour's also just broken the high of the previous 1-hour candle at this point. Yeah, see the thing is, if we close below this area on the 30-minute time frame, and then we create a resistance over here, and then the 4-hour candle closes bearish, 4-hour, then I would anticipate this support to get retested again at that point. But let's wait and see. Just putting ideas out there at this point. GU pumping. I don't look at GU, but that's very nice. Let's take a look at gold though. Yeah, gold is trying to move up to 1732 800. But here was your first indication of a reversal on gold, that higher level of support breaking above these high points, and then you'd expect a retest of this area. Come on guys, let's get these likes up. Try and get a trade here today. Try and get a re-entry on pound yen, but we'll have to wait and see though, because we may be pulling back to this area to create some further resistance at that point. Four-hour kind of flipping back bullish at this point. Looks like we're heading back off to 750 now. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a waiting game at the moment for pound yen.
In a way, it kind of looks like I did a bit of a fake out up into this range.
It does, but at the same time, I mean, I want to see how this 4 hour candle closes, because if this 4 hour can't close bullish, then we're still coming down like overall. But if it does close bullish, then I mean, we probably will see the next one continue moving up. It just depends what it looks like, because if this 30-minute candle, let's say, closes below 150.650, then I mean, you know, one bit of resistance created on, you know, the smaller time frames within this area, and then we can come straight back down to 450. But if we stay above that area, then we may move up to 750, pull back a bit. So yeah, I think what I wanted to see for a buy was over here, you know, like this area here. If we saw the candle move up there, I would have taken a buy there to break through. But at this point, there's not enough for me yet to want it. There's not really, yeah, it's not really what I want to be doing. Even if we look at like stop loss, etc.
It's like 20 pips.
Yeah, you know, minimum at this point.
Yeah, if you get a close above here, you very much could get the 4 hour, end up tapping into 850.
Yeah.
Still closing bullish, but yeah, it will depend.
So yeah, looks like the 30-minute candle did close back above 150.650. Yeah. I think gonna have to wait at this point. I still definitely think there was a short-term selling opportunity down to 150.450, but that wasn't the best opportunity yet, because there wasn't really enough like to say that we were gonna head down. But yeah, come on guys, let's get these likes up over here. Man, I'm still getting those option trading idiots still jumping on my website, man. It's so annoying.
Yeah, it will forever be the case.
Yeah, I know. But I had like loads of them like jumping up in my like contact us and stuff. Oh, it's so I mean, it's just annoying. Why can't people read in it though? I mean, there was the potential to have stopped below the 15-minute candle, but I don't think that's the best idea.
Just looking at that, I mean, considering the circumstances, the 4 hours is still
Open.
like, yeah, it's still open. You don't know where it's going to close for 1 hour. It's still open.
Yeah, I suppose this is the thing, innit?
It's just this whole area. It's just a bit difficult.
Yeah, it's very messy. Yeah, let's wait and see how this 4-hour candle closes. Okay, let's take a look at gold. Gold 15-minute candles closed bearish. Let's look on the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, the only issue we have right now is that gold is still creating these higher levels of support. So I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of a difficult situation. But I mean, if we do break down below this support here on the 5-minute time frame, then there is the opportunity to then come right back into the zone again. But then you're looking at, you know, is that really going to be a good trade to take? It's like 12, 13, maybe 15 pips. And your stop's going to be pretty big. So, yeah, GJ, this is difficult situation. Right. Yeah, looks like nothing's really happening. So let's wait for the 4-hour candle to close at this point. See what happens there. Yeah, it's just been very, very messy really today, to be honest. Gold, yeah, looks like gold is trying to continue moving bearish. But it's a bit of a difficult situation on gold. Yeah. I think the best sell on gold is going to be below 17.29 for price to continue down. That's something I'm going to be looking at. Or a potential buy above 17.33. That would make also a good opportunity for gold to continue moving bullish, because there's like a 26, 27 pip range. We've got these clean candles to the left hand side. That's going to be the best situation on gold. Buys above there, or then sells below 17.29. Pound yen, I'm waiting to see how the 4-hour candle closes, but I think a good buy is going to be back above 157.50 at this point. You know, and then potentially leave runners to run back up to 151, 130. But again, we don't really know what's going on at this point yet. We're not really sure at this point. Looks like we're trying to move up at this point. Back up to around 157.50. Let's take a look. 4-hour candles coming right back to that area. Yeah, I definitely think we can see the next 4-hour candle still pushing up at this point, but we have to wait to see what happens over here.
I don't think we're going to get this hour, 30 minutes close above this resistance line.
No, I'm not expecting to catch this potential initial push. But again, you know, we're going to have options even above like 158.80 is going to give us some options at that point. That's a decent range. It's like 25 pip range. So we'll have to, yeah, we'll have to see. But like I said, I'm not expecting to catch the initial move up, but yeah, let's wait and see what happens. Still got a little bit of time. Oh yeah. Let's see gold. Gold is just coming back down to the support. may even need to create a support back above 150, 650, and then look for buys. It should be a few options. But who knows, we may even see this 30-minute candle closing back below that previous area, and then we see, you know, next candle starting to come down again. We don't really know yet until this 4-hour candle closes, to be honest. And even if the 4-hour candle closes, there's no guarantee that means we're going to start heading up because it closed bullish. We could quite easily reject this area again and then start to come down to fill these wicks. You know, that's also something that can happen. We could see a 4-hour candle do something like this, right? Let's just say this is where we close. We could easily see a 4-hour candle do something like this. Easily. You know, we don't really know what's going on at this point. I don't think we got enough information. Right, have we got any more charts or anything over here? Let's take a look. No more charts. Come on guys, let's get those likes up, man. We've got like 20 likes over here. It's gonna be much better than that. Gold. Yeah, gold's just kind of like ranging, but it's still more of a bearish bias. You know, it's still more of a bearish bias, but we're coming into a lot of problem areas on the higher time frames. But pound yen, yeah. The Asian range is quite big, 58 pips, very delicate. Yes. No, I'm not going to check GBP CHF. You need to send a chart. Gold is just ranging at this point. Yeah, this is not a good situation really where we are on gold. Okay, so the 4-hour candle is about to close in 5 minutes. So let's see what happens over here. Looks like we're trying to create some support over here on the 5-minute time frame, back above that area, 156.50, which is pretty good. But we need price to be above 157.50 for me to look for potential further upside at that point. Man, Mondays. Oof. Yeah, not the best situation for a Monday. down. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of waiting involved here. So let's wait to see how this 4-hour candle closes. Because if it closes as it is, I'm not so convinced yet that we're going to start heading up. Because this is a bit of a weak 4-hour candle close. And we may come straight back down to this support at 150.450. Seems like our volume has been running out. So this is coming up to the 4-hour candle closure. What's it going to close? Bullish or bearish? I think it's about to close bullish. Okay, so the 4-hour candle is currently closed bullish, which is pretty good. 1-hour candle closed above that area. 30-minute candle closed above that area. 15-minute candle closed above that area. So I think, yeah, we're gonna need to look for probably buys above 157.50. Whether we make a high above that, wait for a pullback or whatnot. But there's no guarantee to say that we're just basically gonna continue up from this point. The other thing as well is you've got to remember that the new 4-hour candle may make a lower wick, and we may need to come down back to this area. We don't know. Gold 30-minute candle closed bearish, right? But we're still, yeah, it's a bit of a difficult situation on gold. I think maybe gold, once it breaks this previous 15-minute candle low, potentially could continue down from this point. Because if you look at it, you can clearly see, you see how we're respecting this uptrend now on the wicks coming up. If we start to break down below this area, we can head straight down and fill these wick ranges. But it would need to break down below this level. This top wick would need to be made and then respected, otherwise we'd basically just come right back into this range, and it's just a range. But it's just an idea. Mr. Kelsey's very quiet today. Salim's quiet today.
One of those days.
Yeah, it's a Monday.
Yeah.
The thing is I mean, looking back, okay, yeah, maybe we could have caught this, this impulsive sell move down, but at the same time, clearly we haven't actually even broken structure. We just basically came to a lower level of support. But yeah, I mean, we could easily see this 4-hour candle come straight back down to fill these wicks. So we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's weird, the 4-hour candles are getting smaller and smaller, but then the daily, it's hard to gap down, isn't it? So
yeah,
now we're just consolidating, really.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. No, I was just thinking to myself, was this the secondary? Was this the re-entry basically? But although we did move 20 pips, I mean, really, we only played in the range. That's all it was. Fairly to break above, and we play down to support.
I think it was a good move, but it was very split second decision.
Yeah.
If you were going to get in that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, see, that was the thing, because this candle, if it closed back above, you know, we were like, okay, well, it's probably gonna then continue back up again. But it was the way that it closed below, and then it was like, okay, yeah, I see. And then it literally just started breaking the low like within the first minute before you even knew what kind of happened.
Yeah, at this point I'm probably going to wait. If we're going to get buys, probably just wait for 850. Because then it's just an easier. You know, then we're probably going to be heading back up.
Yeah.
And then sells wise, the thing is, like, if this 30-minute closes back below 650, then you'd be thinking, oh, we could come back down. But
yeah,
just gotta wait.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the safest sell option, it's obviously going to be below 450. But yeah, that's the same thing, in it. Like, the safest buy option really is going to be above like 880. But I think right now, I mean, we could still have good buys above 750. So we'll just, yeah, I'm gonna wait a little bit and then see what happens. But if not, then I took the one trade this morning. Didn't really work out. Is what it is. But the thing is, I kept looking back, like, probably should have been in those sells, because we did create like a resistance here. Although that kind of broke the high, we did kind of still respect bearish market structure. Even looking on the 5-minute, it did really make sense. So I think overall I should have been way more on the ball over there for price to continue down. But yeah, I mean, it's done now, innit? Do you consider the gap a clean range or take it as a resistance or support? I consider wherever basically price closed previously as a key level, and then obviously we look left and this was a previous level of resistance, so I'm kind of looking at that area. This also was a 1 hour support as well, so that's also to be considered. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, I'm also looking at potential gold sales below 1729. That will be a good situation, hopefully. But we're going to need some volume to head us down at that point. Because overall there's a lot of mess. a lot of mess. We may actually start to head back up with gold later on. Yeah, we're going to need some form of resistance to form for gold to continue moving down. Man, what a dead session. No trade on the stream. Had buys pre-stream, but they didn't really work out. And then now, like, nothing's really happened. But there was these potential sells for price to continue down to 150, 450, which we did talk about, but it kind of like missed the move there. And now it seems like pound yen is coming back below this 650 level, which could just be the new 1 hour bottom wick, also the new 4 hour bottom wick, so we're going to keep that in the back of our mind. See, this is a very, very, very difficult situation on gold right now. We can clearly see that we're rejecting. Yeah, I think gold's gonna continue moving bearish. I think since it's breaking this low over here, I think gold might continue down to this area, fill this range. Potentially. So 15-minute candle is about to come to a close, closing bearish. Oh, is it going to close in a wick to the bottom? Oh, we got a no wicker on gold on the 15-minute time frame. Very, 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 very difficult situation now. Pound yen is just, it's not really doing anything. Not really doing much at this point. Didn't quite reach 750 either, so you know there's not even that aspect to it. Just kind of like ranging at this point. Yeah, not a good situation at all. Yeah, so I think we're gonna call it a day here soon. Probably in a minute. The only thing about gold is the no wick to the bottom. But it does seem like it will continue moving bearish. See, if I didn't like this whole higher time frame area, I probably would have been entering in on the break of this 30-minute low right over there for price to continue down, but I didn't really like. I'm not really liking the situation. Okay guys, I think we're gonna call it a day here soon. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna be waiting after the stream to see what happens, but I think we're gonna finish the stream here literally in a minute. In a minute's time. So gold is coming down. Gold is trying to come down, GJ. GJ's in a very difficult position right now. But I think what I'm looking at is seeing if the 4 hour is going to create a bottom wick first, and then see if we're starting to create any support anywhere. It's going to give us an indication that potentially, you know, this moving down is just liquidity being generated. So yeah, we need to wait and see a little bit over here. So yeah, I think we're gonna call it a day here at this point. Yeah, see you later, Salim. No problem. Sorry, Leon. I've just seen you there. No worries, no worries. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it a day. But if you guys are around in about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes or so, we can put on a Zoom call for the MY session. Do a little MY session Zoom call. But yeah, we'll wait and see. So I'm gonna be looking for potential further upside above like 150, 750. Maybe even above like 880 is going to be a better area to look for potential buys, because then we have this nice clean 16 to 25 pip range. That's probably going to be a much better situation, but we'll see. Okay, and then finally just look at gold real quick. Oh yeah, looks like it's rejecting that area again. No wick, man. I hate no wicks. Okay guys, so yeah, we're gonna call it a day here now. So thanks very much for coming on, really appreciate it. Thanks everyone on the YouTube. Drop a like on the stream. I know we didn't get a trade hit on the stream today, but yeah, it is what it is. You know, bit of a slow Monday to start the week, but I mean, what can you do? That's just how it goes. Alright then guys, so thanks very much, really appreciate it, and we will, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care. So the plan for the rest of the day is probably going to be the best situation. Going to be sells below 150, 450 is probably going to be the safest option at this point, because anywhere within this vicinity could just be a 4-hour bottom wick. So I think overall, yeah, probably going to be looking for further upside still. But like I say, you know, below 450 is probably going to be the best opportunity for further downside for me. But yeah, and then on gold, I mean, yeah, the only thing I see on gold is if we can get price staying below 1729. But even then, you know, we still got just this whole zone is just disgusting on gold. So I think we're having a lot of wicks, a lot of issues in this area. So I think I might stay away from gold for the meantime. But yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks very much for coming on, and we'll see you tomorrow. Take care, everyone.